The hidden meaning behind the Pope's clothes. Papal clothing has always been deeply symbolic. It allows Pope Francis to communicate his most basic beliefs and intentions. Everything he wears, from hats to shoes, has a meaning. The mitre is the Pope's distinctive peaked headgear. Mitres were originally simple brimless caps for bishops and abbots. Over time, they became ornate and symbolic. Medieval mitres were sometimes partial crowns, studded with jewels. The mitre symbolizes papal authority. There are 3 mitre versions. The simplex is plain white. It's meant for solemn occasions, like funerals. The rifurgiata features gold decorations. The preziosa is decorated with precious stones. The Pope wears it on feast days and Sundays. The mitre's design carries complex symbolism. The lappets, back ribbons, originally prevented it from falling. Today, they represent following the Bible's spirit and letter. The mitre has 2 peaks for the Old and New Testaments. This signifies papal authority to interpret sacred texts. The height of a mitre also denotes the wearer's rank. A taller mitre represents greater spiritual authority. Pope Francis usually wears a cassock. A cassock, also called a soutane, can be worn by all clerics, but the papal cassock is white. Legend says Pope Pius V started wearing a white religious habit. He wanted to continue that tradition as Pope. The white cassock represents purity and holiness. The shoulder cape is called a mozzetta. The mozzetta is worn for public services and leading prayer. The mozzetta comes in various types. There is red satin for summer. Red velvet with white fur is for winter. Red serge is for masses for the dead. Red cloth is for Lent and Advent. The paschal mozzetta is for Easter. The Pope wears an ornate pectoral cross over his chest. In medieval times, popes even wore armor over cassocks in battle. The papal ferula is an ornate staff. It resembles a crozier or shepherd's crook. The ferula represents the Pope's role as shepherd of the faithful flock. Then there are papal shoes. The Pope's red shoes are dyed with silk and plant-based dyes. This red color denotes the blood of Christ and of martyrs. Popes wore red shoes until John Paul II's papacy. As a sign of humility, he switched to simple brown shoes. But in 2005, Benedict XVI revived the tradition. He had his red shoes custom made by Prada. The Pope's regalia includes the fisherman's ring. It gets its name from the image of St. Peter fishing. Peter was a fisherman called by Christ to become a fisher of men. As Peter's successor, each new pope receives this ring. After a pope's death, it is ceremonially defaced with a hammer and chisel. The ring's pieces are then buried with the pope. Last but not least, there's also a mantum. It is a long, heavy gown-like garment. It is decorated with jewels and gold thread. The Pope alone can wear it. It is a sign of papal authority and part of the regalia. The mantum is placed on the new pope during his investiture. Investiture is basically a coronation ceremony. The mantum used to be red. Now it is usually white and gold. By the way, Pope Francis gets all his garments from a small shop in Rome.